Your nerves, doesn't it, Jurgen? That must feel like a defeat, even though you've got a point.
Definitely. I don't think you can create much more chances, better chances than we did today, and we don't finish the game off. Obviously, scored a wonderful goal, first one. Didn't finish the game off, and didn't play enough. Not even. It's not complicated. So obviously, with a few passes, we came always through. We just had to do that again and again. That they have done from time to time. That's how it is in football. A counter-attack that can happen. But anyway, we have just to keep going, playing, and then keep the ball and let them run and these kind of things. And we kept them alive, obviously, and then in the end, they of course deserved the goal. That's because they scored before, 2 minutes before, whatever. Another one, which is with the new rules, I saw it now once. Unlucky for Wilson, but it's handball. How we now use the rules, and and then we don't even take this present. Didn't happen a lot that VAR was in our. We were lucky with that this season, but today we were, and then we give another chance away, and it's just, that makes no sense, and it's then really tough to take.
But watching on the touchline, it felt that you could see it coming, that because you have a lot of experienced players on the pitch, but they weren't managing the game to the finish.
Yeah, true.
And that must be very stressful. Why does that happen?
Yeah, because we have to, why it happened, I don't know. How it looked, I saw. So it's just you just have to keep the ball. We don't. In a specific way, we don't fight enough. It's not when we make a mistake, we fight and try to get it back and stuff like this. But keep ourselves like in a position where we dominate the game, which was possible today. We had 70% of the ball, and we should have 80. We should have 80% of the ball. So and then there's still moments when Newcastle, they are not bothered about that. When they have a counter-attack and these moments, yeah, then if a goalie and you have to defend it, that's all fine. If you get something in that. But anyway, so it's like we create a lot of chances, didn't score with them, now we have to create more. That's how it is, and use them. So because it's like this in our situation, when you don't score with the way we score with the first pretty much, but then not with the second, not with the third, it always has this kind of impact where you see that, oh my God, it drops here a little bit, there a little bit, instead of going and just, who cares? A missed chance is just information, nothing else. But we don't do that well in the moment, I have to say. That's definitely, that's why I say it. In the end, it's deserved. You would look at the stats and you think, how can that happen? But it happened, we saw it, and they fought for it, and they got it, and we got nothing, pretty much. Got a point, but you're right, it feels like a defeat.
And it makes it so much more difficult to get in that top four situation.
Yeah, but that's, look, I really, what we always said, if you deserve it, you deserve it. I didn't see us that we deserve today. Playing Champions League next year. We have another 5 games, we will see what we can do until then. We have a few days until we play Man United, so it will be a tough one as well, but we learn or we don't play Champions League, that's it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
When you have the amount of chances that Liverpool have had, you've got to put it away, because you leave yourselves open to the possibility of this happening. And of course then when you get away with it and we're talking about Callum Wilson's goal, which will be allowed next season, which should be allowed this season, as much as we know the laws have changed, which is a ridiculous law. I was quite happy in thinking that we got away with it. But last minute, Willock, you got to take your chances. And it's not the first time that we've not taken our chances and it's come back to hurt us. And it's just so disappointing, because that 4th place is up for grabs. But there's a lot of twists between now and then, because I can see lots of twists and turns with people who should be going 4th and they're losing points as we are. So we can just but live in hope.
Well, don't forget, of course, later today, a huge game, and 2 teams who would have been looking at that one. It all began last night. Everton is still in the European hunt with that 1-0 win at Arsenal. It is only 1-1 at Anfield, and Chelsea and West Ham will have noted that with interest, because they meet, that is 4th against 5th, of course, at the London Stadium at 5:30. Later on tonight, Brighton go to relegated Sheffield United. Tomorrow, amongst the games, Manchester United visit Ellen Road to face Leeds United. And Monday night, it all wraps up with Leicester in 3rd at home to Crystal Palace. So before Joe Willock scored, Liverpool were 4th, but they remain 6th. 54 points, still a point off the top four, still a point behind West Ham and Chelsea, who, reminder, meet later today, and they're 5 off Leicester, who, as I say, play Crystal Palace on Monday. Spurs just a point behind Liverpool now, having played the same number of games. If Everton win their game in hand, they go above Spurs and the reigning champions and level on points with West Ham and Chelsea, potentially. What a few weeks it's been for Newcastle. 8 points from the last 12. Look at that. 9 clear of Fulham now, having played the same number of games. Burnley are the team closest to Scott Parker's side. They're at Wolves at Molineux tomorrow.
Well, you should be used to this now. It's an astonishing comeback. Try and put that one into words for us.
I mean, I'm happy to help the team again, you know. I feel like we pushed very hard in the second half, you know. We was growing in confidence, and I thought, apart from the sloppy goal we gave away, the boys done really well today.
I asked Steve Bruce before the match why he'd left you on the bench, because you were in goal-scoring form. I said, is it because you're the super sub? He said you wouldn't like that label.
No, that's not my label.
But it's working though, isn't it?
I mean, I'm just trying to give my best, even if I get 10, 15, half an hour, you know, I'm trying to give my best for the team. I really enjoy my football at the moment at Newcastle, and I'm happy I could help the team again today.
Well, you're keeping them coming. But did you feel like it had gone when the goal was disallowed there?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not too sure about that decision, but you know, I feel like we was pushing. We didn't lose confidence, you know. To come here and do that at Anfield, it's not easy. So it shows how much we've grown in the past few weeks as a team.
You've been missing chances as well. There were a lot of chances in the game, but particularly in the first half, Newcastle were getting behind the high line and not finishing.
Yeah, we was working at it in training, you know. We was trying to combine and getting behind their high line, because they stay very high, you know. But I feel like it was just that extra pass or that extra goal. I mean, extra shot. It was not coming off, you know. So, but I was happy we could get back in the game.
Absolutely right. 5 games left. Do you feel you're pretty much there now, safe? That goal could have great significance. I
mean, hopefully. I feel like it's more of a performance that we need to keep up, you know. I don't feel like we was showing what we were showing earlier this year, you know. What we're showing now on the pitch is brilliant, and I feel like if we continue, we'll be safe for sure.
I think the next game's home to Arsenal. You don't want to be on the bench for that one, do you? Not again.
I don't know if I'm allowed to play against that for Arsenal, but
good point.
I'm a Newcastle player at the moment, and I'm enjoying every game and every week. I'm learning more. I'm getting closer to the boys more, you know. So I really enjoy my football at the moment.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, he's gathering hero status on Tyneside, isn't he, Joe Willett, with those 4 goals in 10 games. What about, John, the one Liverpool conceded there to him today, late on?
Well, of course, you can look and say, is anybody in the wrong position? Anybody made a mistake? You would say maybe Andy Robertson could have been a bit stronger, because Dwight Gale is not the biggest, but he wins the header. Is anybody really out of position? The centre-backs are in position, and then it gets a deflection. So it was just one of those things. I don't think you can necessarily blame anybody for this. You'd want him, that's a good line that they've held. Maybe the midfield players dropping a bit deeper, but you can always look for excuses. And there was a bit of a slide push, Michael was telling me, on Gale. Here you can see Gale actually pushes Andy Robertson in the back before he heads it. But I think that'll be nitpicking.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a goal that was disallowed just beforehand. There was a slight push. You get away with small pushes, don't you? I don't think it was enough to give a foul, but there was a little nudge that got him the space. Again, we're looking at the centre halves. Can we sort of nitpick any mistakes? But really, Newcastle committed that many bodies forward that there was just, you know, a couple of spare men around.
Newcastle.
And it fell to a Newcastle player. And that's the problem. You miss your chances, teams will throw caution to the wind, and then all of a sudden you're outnumbered, and all of a sudden you're at risk of conceding.
As I mentioned, 15 points dropped from winning positions, only 11 in the last 2 seasons combined. And Newcastle fans will be screaming at the moment, saying, "Mind Liverpool's defending. What about Joe Willock?" I mean, what about Joe Willock?
Well, what about Newcastle as a whole? Fantastic performance. To go and create that many chances at Anfield is brilliant. Joe Willock, I mean, getting in the box like he did last week with an unbelievably important header to secure the 3 points again this week. Goal-scoring midfielders, you know. Newcastle aren't blessed with many goal-scoring players in their team, certainly not in an attacking sense. So if they can get a midfield player like that to score a few goals, and a few big goals, then well, as I say, he could be the difference between them going down and staying up.
Callum Wilson scored goals for them, of course. He's been an excellent signing. He thought he'd scored the equaliser just a couple of minutes earlier.
Yeah, but once again, here you can see it's a good run, a good ball through. It falls for him. I mean, Michael was talking about he got a bit of a push. They were looking, could it be a penalty if he had gone down? You can see Kabak pushes him a bit. But when it comes back to him and it hits him on the arm in a not unnatural position, it's right by his side. But of course, the law has then said from an attacking perspective, anywhere on the arm, regardless if it's intentional, in an unnatural position, doesn't matter. We're thankful that it wasn't given, but it's ridiculous. That should have been a goal. It still would have been 1-1. Hopefully it would have been 2-1. I don't think they'll score the second.
Yeah, and if they didn't score with Willock later on, then we wouldn't have heard the last of that one, because that should be a goal. You know, the rule is a poor one. They've admitted that the rule's a poor one, IFAB, and it's going to be changed. So really you could look at that and say Newcastle got what they deserved in the end. But from Liverpool's point of view, it only hits home when you look at that league table. Hammer blow.
Hammer blow. Let's get some player reaction then. Here's Andy Robertson.
Oh, Andy, what happened at the end there?
Pretty much sums up our season. We don't learn our lessons. We keep on doing the same thing, and Newcastle deserved a point. Could have got away with 2. I don't know. I think that rule's ridiculous. Their first goal getting disallowed, to be honest. We've had a couple this season. That one, the keeper bounced it off the hand. So we could be sitting here with a defeat, which is baffling with the amount of chances we had the first half, even second half with the control. But we don't know. It's hard to put your finger on it, but what we were based on was so good at seeing out results, and we can't do that just now. Simple as that. We don't see out the results. Teams always have a chance against us. They always build in confidence the last 10 minutes and believe they can get something, and that's not like us. But we can't keep on coming out and speaking a good game. We're not doing it on the pitch, and games are running out now.
I have to ask you this question. Obviously, it's been a week where a lot of the focus has been off the pitch. Did that affect anybody for this afternoon's game?
No, not at all, to be honest. Maybe we can use that excuse Monday, maybe. But I still think for us, we've got a job to do. We obviously, everything that went on around it, it looks as if it's, dead in the water now. So why should it affect us? It didn't affect anything the players were going to do. Football was in uproar, and rightly so, with fans obviously not happy, and that's absolutely the right thing. But for us, we've got a job to do. We've got a job to, we're talking about, the Champions League will now exist now. That's took a big knock if we are going to play it next season. So for us, that's our priority. We need to finish this season strong. Nothing to do with off-field things, nothing to do with that. When you come up on a Saturday and you pull on this shirt, you've got a job to do, and we're not doing it just now.
From Andy Robertson, we saw 15 points in winning positions, John. He says Liverpool cannot close out these games at the moment.
2 years ago and last year, everything we hit went in the back of the net. And I've always felt that we have to create a lot of chances to score goals, but our goals to chances ratio was very good. But I never ever thought that we were that clinical, but we created so many chances. Now we're still creating chances, maybe not as many as in the last few years, but we're just not putting them away. And if you don't put your chances away, no matter how well you're playing or how badly the opposition are playing, in the last minute, things like this can happen.
But they're not keeping clean sheets. Again, it leads to see even a 1-0 out, are they?
Well, even if Newcastle score 1 goal, the amount of chances we created, we should have scored 5 or 6. So, of course, maybe not keeping clean sheets. And for me, that's understandable in terms of the nature of the team. 2 centre-backs missing, players out of position. This is the Premier League. There are good teams around. Conceding goals, you're going to concede goals. Liverpool will concede goals with the nature of the defence. But with the chances we've created, the amount of chances we've not scored, it'll be interesting to see, out of all the teams in the Premier League, who has scored the least amount of goals in terms of the chances created. I think we'll be right up there.
How on earth, when you look back at some of these chances, did they not convert just one more to give a 2-goal advantage?
Especially having such a great start. When you go ahead, it normally enhances your chances of scoring the next chance because you're confident. That's a little bit off Jota's shin. This is a chance really that we've seen in the past. Liverpool closing down up front. I mean, that's a pass, really. He should be squaring that to Firmino. And then, the chances continued. This is Salah, poor first touch. Then the second, bouncing off his knee, bobbling, bouncing. Probably doesn't get the ball exactly where he wants it. And it just continued. Like, let's not beat around the bush. Newcastle had chances too. It needs more pace, and then he can slot it in with one touch. As it is, he's waiting for it. Nice, unselfish play, but it's not the quality of pass that you need. And it was continuous throughout the whole game, John.
Yeah. And as I said, and as you said, if you don't put your chances away. That was look, that's a good save by the goalkeeper. You can't blame Firmino for that. But the gilt-edged chances we had to score really should have been put away. And as long as that doesn't happen, and this is not a chance, that's a good shot by Andy Robertson. And here, once again, it comes to Firmino, to Salah. You'd expect Salah to hit the target. The goal he scored was incredible. You know, but when you get an opportunity like this, these are the ones you want to put away. I don't mind him not scoring the ones he actually does, like that goal. If he hadn't scored that goal, you can blame him and say you should have scored because it was just an incredible goal. But not just today, but there are opportunities that we've had, not just himself, that really we should be putting them away, and they've hurt us.
Yeah, and that's the problem. We've spoken before the game. Mane, brilliant player, scores lots of goals. Salah, unbelievable player as well, scores lots of goals. But they're not natural finishers. No. You know, they're not someone that you can hang your hat on. They've scored goals consistently because Liverpool have, like today, created so many chances. But, you know, they've been wanting, or the team have been found wanting a lot of the season with missed chances.